Welcome back to the stream. Welcome back to another video. Today we're going to get into a variety of topics, but this first topic, a lot of people are not happy with the new Tesla pricing on the website because it shows a lower price, because it shows a lot of incentives, which of course is the federal tax credit, and of course gas savings. So we're going to unpack that and talk a little bit about the new pricing and explain it, and also talk about everybody's favorite topic, the $7,500 federal tax credit, how to calculate it for you yourself, give you the quick TLDR, and I'll give you my quick tips on how much do you actually need to make to get the full amount, and on top of that, what you need to be aware about that tax credit, that $7,500 federal tax credit going into the next year. So we're gonna get into that plus a variety of topics, but before we do that, let's roll that intro really quick. All right, so thanks for watching another stream. Thanks for watching another video. My name is Dennis, and I love talking about Tesla hacking, as I like to call it, but basically just getting the best deal on Tesla at the best financing rate. So definitely hit that subscribe if you're interested. And today's video is actually sponsored by my Patreon link down below in the description if you want to support the channel and get access to the ultimate Tesla buying guide out there with all the best interest rates for financing your Tesla. So definitely check it out. Patreon link down below in the description. So shout out to Holes Mars Catalog, a full self-driving enthusiast, makes a lot of videos about full self-driving in the actual vehicle, driving all over the place. Quote, the median U.S. worker has more than a $7,500 federal tax liability, which means that more than half or most Americans can qualify for the electric vehicle tax credit. So unfortunately, that's not exactly the case here. And I'll show you the calculators that show exactly how much you need to make to price out the vehicle and get the full $7,500 of federal tax credit. The spoiler alert is it is a little bit more, or not a little bit, it's much more than $54,000 a year, and much more, especially if you're married. But in case you missed it, yesterday the Tesla Twitter was a fury because there was new pricing posted onto the websites that now show lower prices for the Model 3 and the Model Y. Right now, the Model 3 starts at $29,740 if and after only the federal tax credit plus any sort of gas savings from that. Going to the Model Y, also we show a lower price, which is $36,640 after the federal tax credit, and of course the gas savings. Of course, you can take a look and see how Tesla is getting to some of these numbers. Of course, you can use a Tesla referral code just to get an extra $500 to $1,000 off, like the Tesla referral code down below in the description. But you can see right here, if we take a look at it, picking up any Model Y, like a brand new ordered one, you can see federal tax credit $7,500, which, it is a $7,500 credit, but you don't get that immediately. Of course, that's something you get after you file for your taxes next year, but we'll talk about it. And the next one is 3 years of gas savings. So I don't know what type of mileage they're rating this at, but about $1,200 a year for 3 years in gas savings from that, for a potential price after potential savings of $39,390. So yes, you do save some gas, but you have to be driving a good amount, but some things about a Tesla, you're going to be expending more on top of that. And then also $7,500 federal tax credit. Yes, there is a $7,500 federal tax credit, but it's not as straight as a discount, which brings you to this price effectively of the $29,000 or the $36,000. But I mean, at the end of the day, if you are getting this money, and there are ways to get a monthly payment that shows a lower monthly payment with this $7,500 adjusted, and that's where financing partners like Tenet come into play. Tenet, which is a EV financing company or a Tesla approved financing company, allows you to get the lowest monthly payment by using the financing which adjusts for the $7,500 federal tax credit deferred all the way to the end. So definitely check out Tenet down below in the description. And thank you to Tenet for sponsoring this video and a bunch of other videos this month. So yes, you can get a price that's down to this, basically effective after you get the tax credit next year. And how the tax credit works is you buy the Model 3 or the Model Y now, of course, if you were in the income limits. And then when you file for your taxes next year, anywhere from January to even April, that's when you'll get an enhanced refund for that money. And how to tell if you'll even qualify for that full $7,500. We've used to use websites like this one where we take a look in here. You can put in any sort of income and you can see what type of income you'll see in actual how much of federal taxes you'll be looking to pay. So right now we'll put in $50,000. You actually don't even need to put any sort of state because it all matters on the federal tax bucket. And it really all matters on how much do you as an individual, as a person, pay in federal taxes in total by the end of the year. So right here you can see, or how much you're due to pay by the end of the year. Right now we put in $50,000 for a single earner. We're going to leave everything blank. And you can see a person making $50,000 only has a tax liability in the 2022 year for $1,781. So this gives you an idea that if this person were to buy a Model 3 or Model Y, they are only going to get about $1,000 to $2,000 of that $7,500 federal tax credit for electric vehicles back. So it's kind of a waste for someone that makes $50,000 to purchase the Model 3 or Model Y thinking they're going to get that full $7,500. The rule of thumb is actually around the $75,000 threshold. You can see once we bump this up to $75,000, that brings us to, maybe we've got this here. Whoops. We've got the 401k in there. It was hidden. So let me try this again. $75,000 brings you to a federal tax credit of $9,268. Dropping this down to $50,000, that gives you a federal tax of $4,241. So this person would only get $4,241 back of the $7,500. Here's another great website that's from calculator.net if you want to play around with a little bit more with all these other different numbers. But you can kind of see it's the same exact thing. So we put in the income here for a single earner at $70,000. We hit calculate and you can see the tax liability for 2022 is $8,168. So if you're above that threshold, then you are for sure going to get that full $7,500 federal tax credit back. But if you're anywhere near under that threshold, or anywhere maybe even $60,000, $50,000, that's where it starts to get diminished value on how much of that full $7,500 you are actually going to be getting back. So just be aware of that. Buying a Tesla is great. Not filling in gas is great, but if you're expecting a full $7,500 federal tax credit, kind of like what Tesla is expecting most of their buyers to be getting, it is not exactly the full truth, especially if you make anything less than $70,000 a year as a single earner. And of course, if you make more than $150,000 as a single earner, you're also not going to be able to get that tax credit as well. Of course, if you do make over $150,000, there are ways to lower your adjusted gross income under that $150,000 threshold, so you do qualify for the tax credit. Definitely check out some of the videos on the channel where we talk about that. Or if you're looking for a customized buying situation where you're looking to ask some questions about how to get the best deal on a Tesla at the best financing rate, that's where our Patreon group down below in the description comes into play. After you join, you can schedule a phone call with me or you can ask me questions via the direct messages. And after you join, you get a link to my buying guide, which is the ultimate Tesla buying guide out there with all the best interest rates for financing your Tesla, all lower than Tesla financing, some even as low as 2.99 to sub 4%. So definitely check out Patreon link down below in the description. But hopefully that makes a lot of sense. There are certainly ways to save money like on buying a Tesla, like financing or even using a Tesla referral code, just like the one down below in the description to get an extra $500 to $1,000 off. But I can certainly see how it could be a little bit confusing, how you might not get the full tax credit, or Tesla is doing a little bit of a sleight of hand showing these lower prices, but they've always been known to do this because yes, you can get a Model 3 for $29,000, even less if you factor in state incentives, but of course it's going to be factoring in the federal tax credit, gas savings, and much more. But we're going to jump into the next topic after this